Hi and welcome to the lesson about event and processing time in streaming processing. So here I will apply a bit the same scenarios as for other lessons. Namely, I will start with the data generator that will produce some data. And here, which is important to understand, is the payload. So in the payload, I will include two values: number, which is a kind of business value, and event time, which, as you can see, is the current time. It represents when the event happened. And later in the job, I will read these events and print, and convert them into a string. And in the string, I will put the current time, so the processing time, and the event time from the record. And later I will output everything in the console, ensuring that I have the full payload printed, and I will execute the code every 10 seconds just to show you much more clearly the difference between processing and event time. But before that, I will start the Docker containers, and you can see that again is an Apache Kafka cluster. Okay. And another, yes, that's while it's starting, I will just complete the picture. And this trigger method also, it's another proof for the difference between event and processing time. So if you remember the theory lesson, I said that network latency is most of the time the reason behind this increased difference between processing and event time. But in fact, if you use some specific triggering method, as I'm using here for Apache Spark, where I'm explicitly saying, hey Spark, you can start processing data every 10 seconds at most, well, it's also a kind of latency addition, even though you have a perfect network where your data goes through in milliseconds. Well, because of this trigger, you will of course add some latency to your code. And so let me just illustrate that issue with a demo. I'm starting data generator, generated some records already, and I will start the demo code. And as you can see, yes, I already can see here that my processing time is 12 seconds after the event time, and it's also valid for the other records. So here the difference is a little bit slower, but still it does exist. So yes, smaller, our difference is smaller. Yes, it's a little bit smaller. Okay, yes, but still it does exist for all the processed records. And so you can see there are different things you should be careful about when it comes to the processing and event time. So network and generally the transmission between your producers and your consumers, which is obviously very often the network based, but also the consumer logic, because here you can see that because of this 10 seconds processing, we add much more latency, but maybe this 10 seconds processing is in some reason justified and logical. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next lessons where we will deep dive into other streaming aspects.